Okay. Probably shouldn't do that, but we're live.
We are live. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the 54th edition of the Home Theater Hub. We have Jeremy from Tech Enthusiasm streaming to his channel. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. And as ritual happens, Mr. Paul is digging into that cooler. What are we drinking for tonight, Mr. Paul?
Today is actually not as fruity, but it is a fruity beer. It is a actual lager, and it's actually really good. It's actually a very few beers that are like watermelon and cherry or peach or whatever have the actual flavor in it. This tastes like blueberry, but the funny thing is there's no blueberry in it. It's somehow they make the flavor. I don't know. Wow. I have to look into it more, but somebody went to the brewery and they were like, there's not even blueberry in it, but it tastes the most like a blueberry. I mean, when you drink it, people that don't even like drink beer will have this and be like, oh man, that's really good.
Look, the bottom line is it has the name of a fruit.
Yeah, it does.
Which is in line with you. So that's just...
Cheers. I still like my flavor. It's like, yeah, I know what wheat tastes like. So
when we lived out in Massachusetts for a while, Wachusett Mountain was kind of towards the middle-ish of the state, ski hill, whatever. But there was a brewery there, and they had a blueberry wheat ale, I think it was. That was one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I like the flavored beers too. They're pretty good. My favorite is the Angry Orchard though. That apple crisp, man, it's just so good. It goes down so smooth.
Have you had the Not Your Father's root beer?
No, I've not had that one.
Yeah, it tastes like old school A&W root beer.
Oh wow, we'll have to check that one out.
Nice. Check that one out.
What's going on, Mr. Ike? How are you doing, sir?
Can't call it. Just having a good day. So far, so good.
How was your holiday, your Thanksgiving?
Good. It was busy. We had family, friends around and settling in. We had a great time actually. So it was good because I had Wednesday through to Monday off. So it was fun. But today's fantastic. My birthday, so we are having a birthday stream and drinking
Happy
a
birthday.
Coke. Yep, thank you.
I'll drink to that. Happy birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was guilty. I haven't checked Facebook in like almost 2 weeks. I've just been so busy myself, so I didn't even see the notification come up that it was your birthday. So I apologize for that. But happy birthday.
Thank
Paul,
you.
how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. We did a pork loin for Thanksgiving because the previous Sunday we did a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. So we had 2 Thanksgivings, 2 food coma days in that week. So it was good.
How about you, Jeremy? How did you guys celebrate?
Yeah, we don't travel for Thanksgiving because both my wife and I we're from Southeast Michigan, so all the family's here. We split the day, saw a lot of people. Did our usual Christmas tree cutting on Black Friday morning with some friends, and
oh, nice,
it's a good weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, we decided that we were going to go to St. Augustine, so we went. I live in South Florida, about a 4.5-hour drive north, just south of Jacksonville. It's actually the oldest city in America. St. Augustine is, and they have, it's called Night of the Lights. So they have like all the Christmas lights set up and everything else. So that was my son. He's like, Christmas is oozing out of his ears right now. So he's super excited about Christmas. So we took him up there to actually partake in the lights and everything else like that. So it was a good time. It was actually the first time that I haven't cooked for Thanksgiving in a long time. So it was nice to just do like a a buffet at the hotel, which was absolutely delicious. You said you had a pork loin. There was an apricot pork loin there, plus turkey and like fresh made stuffing. It was actually really, really good. And thinking about making it a tradition every year, it was that good. So I hope all of you guys out there watching had a great Thanksgiving also. Sorry, we tried to put together a show last week, but my schedule just didn't coordinate with Ike's schedule, and then Ike, we had something set up for another day, and then we had to change a couple days. With the holidays, it's just tough, right? It's always family first. So gotta spend Thanksgiving with the family and do whatever you need to, to be with the family on those days. So welcome back again, Jeremy. Appreciate you coming back. I think the last time you were on is when the Strato V just came out, right?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah. So I noticed that you've been cranking out the Strato V videos over there on your channel, by the way. If you guys aren't let's see, go here to present. If you're not a subscriber, I know Jeremy's also sharing on his channel, but if you're not a subscriber to Tech Enthusiasm, make sure you go over there and give him a sub. You're cranking the subs there, man. 22K. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it was funny. The the growth really. I apologize to everybody. My voice is going to be a little screwy. Nursing a cold this week, but at one point earlier in the year, I thought there might be a realistic chance at like 25,000 by the end of 2024, and then I'm like, no, there's no way that's going to happen. And I thought I was going to. Then I was thinking, well, maybe 20K, but over a couple of months here, like through the fall, there were a couple of shorts that went viral, and like it really exposed the channel to a lot of folks. So there was like this big shot of growth. So yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Very nice, very nice. That's one thing that I don't really do is like shorts. So I gotta try to do stuff like that.
I do them in spurts, but on a whim, I had thrown up just a couple of like goofy things, like taking the film off of the TVs, and then my TV, and then a friend's TV or whatever. And yeah, those went they went nuts.
It's crazy how it works, right? It's usually those goofy stuff that just ends up with 100,000 views, right? And then you put in the hard work for a 10-hour video, and you only get 500.
yeah. I think one of the TV film poll videos is like 3 million, I think now.
Wow, like just think about that. That is so random, man. It's like, you know what? Goofy going on. 2025 is a year of goofy videos.
Yeah, 3.3 million views on that. It's a Samsung 85-inch that a buddy of mine installed. So anyway, and most of that happened over the last couple months. So that really pushed the channel. I go in spurts on shorts. Sometimes I'll get invested in doing them, and then I'll kind of stop. It all just goes with the ebb and flow of time spent creating content. But
yeah, you've been cranking some videos out over there too. So I noticed that you've gotten some equipment that I've had laying around for a while. I think you may have picked up the newer version, but of the WattBox.
Yep, that's in the rack now.
Yeah, I saw that video. I saw the update of the Strato V video the other day. So what are your takes on the Strato V? We'll just go ahead and dive into that. What do you think of it? What do you think about the updates that they've made to it?
Yeah, I think it's a good product. I think it's a good product at the right time. I think dropping the entry point from effectively $9,000 to $4,000 has brought a lot of people into Kaleidescape that were on the outside of Kaleidescape, and I think that's cool. It's good for the platform, good for the company, and good for all the people that were able to jump in. I think like any product, we could sit here with a wish list of like, oh, it could have had this or could have done that instead. But it is what it is, and for what it is in the platform, I think it's a good move. I know there's been, and I've definitely talked with some folks, and there's been a lot of discussion on the owners forums, some initial growing pains, like initial release pains. So but I think they've done a good job. 10.20 is rolling out right now, and I think that's the third KOS update since they shipped the V, and so they're patching up bugs and they're restoring back features. They got the store fully outfitted in the UI now. You know, we've learned a couple things about the V, like the whole 1080p UI, and it's interesting how some people don't care and other people care a lot. I think if you're on a flat screen up to a certain size or even a small projection screen, it doesn't make much of a difference.
Yeah.
If you have a big screen, yeah, you can tell the difference between a 4K Strato C and a 1080p upscaled Strato V. But even in 10.20, they just added the ability to use your own external scaler instead of using the built-in scaling, and they're making some other improvements and some more improvements still to come in like the quality, the presentation quality of the movie posters. So I think all of the initial stuff will be over, or it's on its way to being kind of settled out. They've made big headway into converting the HD content to be compatible, and they've taken to posting weekly updates onto the owners forum with the list of titles that's updated each week. And so, yeah, I think it went through the kind of things that a lot of new products in tech go through, but I think it's coming pretty strong. And there's been a huge response to it that I've seen. There's been a lot of folks.
Yeah, and for the little bit of time that it's been out, I mean, they have definitely pumped a lot of resources into revising, you know, the UIs and that have come out. So we now have the capability. You have to go into the store, but we now have the capability of seeing all of our movies, right?
Yep,
So you know, before you couldn't do that. You know,
Yeah.
you can only see your 10 movies, right? So I think it's definitely making headway, you know, as far as some of what the naysayers were saying. Oh, I can only see 10 movies, I can only do this, you know. So I think they're moving in the right direction for it. Unfortunately, I still have mine sitting right next to me here. Haven't even hooked it up yet to actually, you know, partake in any of the Dolby Vision or anything like that yet. It's still not even in the setup phase yet, because I actually want to do a video on the whole setting it up and everything else like that. I do have a question for you about it. You previously had a Zapiti, correct?
I've had everything on the ripping side. Back to the old.
So you've had an optical drive with the firmware flashed back then, right?
In order to do ripping.
In order to do ripping, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So have you tried because I was thinking that with the optical drive with the firmware flashed, have you tried to rip to catalog 4K with one of those drives like that?
I've never tried to do it. So I have had people tell me that they have had success with actually like drives reading 4K discs. I'm not sure if the firmware matters so much, whether you kind of get lucky or not. This is my conjecture. I don't know the technicalities behind it. Again, I've never tried to feed 4K discs in for cataloging. It's been a long time since I've done any cataloging specifically myself. But again, I have had folks, a number of folks tell me like that they've been successful in having it read 4K discs. But I think what's happening, or my gut feeling, speaking as an engineer, kind of making some inferences, is that whether it's a Blu-ray or it's a 4K, I'm guessing that the movie presents some kind of a unique code, or it does whatever they're doing to identify that, oh, this disc represents this movie, has less to do with the technology of the disc and more to do with whatever the is written onto that disc to indicate what movie it is. So if that code or signature or something is somehow unique between the Blu-ray and the 4K disc in some manner, then maybe that 4K disc wouldn't work. But maybe the way the discs are mastered, whatever they're looking at may happen to be the same between like an HD and a 4K movie. And that's why occasionally some folks say that they're successful with 4K cataloging, but the official line is that it works. It's a supported feature for DVD and HD Blu-rays. And if you get a 4K disc to catalog, just consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know what we're speaking of, Kaleidescape allows you to do a disc to digital program to where you use an external optical drive. You put the disc in, you plug the optical drive into the back of the Kaleidescape through a USB 3 port, and it spins the disc, and it will actually catalog it into a digital, I guess, like storage for you, to where you can actually purchase those movies at a lesser rate for most of them. And the only ones that Kaleidescape technically supports right now is a Blu-ray disc. So my thoughts were, because you have to, whenever you're ripping a 4K disc, you have to flash back that actual optical drive to a different firmware, to an older firmware. And my thoughts were that by doing that, it might allow the Kaleidescape to read just like it does it make MKV, just like it does any DVD or DVD fab. So I haven't tried it yet, so that I'm going to play around with it just to see if any of you've had success with that. Shout out in the comments if you've had some success with actually cataloging 4K on Kaleidescape.
Yeah, the drive that I have, it's an Archgon. If you go to Amazon and you search for Archgon like 4K Blu-ray, it's a little slim drive in a silver enclosure. I think it might be an LG drive inside. Archgon is like the enclosure, but it comes as a little slim drive with a dual USB, but it has rollback firmware because it's what I used to, for a period of time to rip. And like I said, it cataloged fine. I just never tried any 4K discs on it.
I see. Yeah, I mean, most of your disc comes with a Blu-ray, so it doesn't really matter, right? Most of the 4K discs come with the Blu-ray, and when you get in, it doesn't matter that you're cataloging a Blu-ray, because when you get into the Kaleidescape ecosystem for the disc to digital upgrade, it gives you the option to upgrade to the 4K. Right. So I was just curious if some of the discs they're not coming with Blu-rays. If you're paying $14, $13, some of these don't send the Blu-ray with them, right? So for the disc. Did you guys get a chance to watch any movies over the break? Ike, any movies?
No, just a bunch of demo tracks. That's all.
Just showing the family the theater, huh?
Just a bunch of demo tracks.
That's right.
That's all I did.
How about you, Paul? Any movies?
Yeah, I watched a couple movies. I watched The War. I forgot the title. Ungentlemanly Warfare, or
I think I've heard of that. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. There wasn't anything. That was one of those movies that it seemed like there was probably a book that was way, way better. Because the premise and the basic storyline, it was like, oh, hurry, hurry, hurry. We're giving you 10% of like the character build and the storylines. But overall, it was a good movie. And I also watched, which was surprisingly good, Prey. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it.
It wasn't anything new, obviously. It was basically a remake of The Predator. And it was good. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was like an action movie. It wasn't like you already knew, Predator and everything, so it wasn't really ruining anything. It was good enough to where, oh, okay, I already know what's going on, but they kept the story going and gave you a little better build up and association with the characters and stuff like that. But overall, it's a good action movie too. I don't know what that one rated
everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. Yeah,
I didn't know.
I have not seen it. I've saved it, but saved it.
I didn't even know about it for the longest time, and then I ended up getting it, and I was like, "Huh, yeah, I forgot I hadn't even seen that." So I started looking through all the movies I haven't watched during the break, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to see that one."
That was locked away in Hulu for a while, so
right.
Gotcha. That's
yeah. I've saved it for the theater. I know, Paul, you're going to give me a hard time, but before we get to Jeremy about if he's watched any movies. Let me give a little share here.
Oh, that is not you.
Oh
No.
my
Whose home
God.
theater is that?
Tell me you
Oh,
obviously
nah,
paid someone
you
to
done
paint
stole
that.
some of these pictures, man.
That would have taken you like 9 months.
Hey, give credit to whoever owns these pictures, man. That's not your room, man.
Yeah, man, you're really good with Adobe Photoshop.
I know, man.
AI,
Wow.
AI generated.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Jeremy, I don't know if you know or not, but I've been getting crap for the past year about not having this theater done. So, but yeah, no, this is the first
I've
coat of
been
black.
giving you crap since day one. So yeah.
This is the first coat of black paint for the front wall and the ceiling. So the second one will be going on tomorrow. And then the walls are going to get painted. I'm still up in the air on my paint color for the walls. Probably going to do a cream color to match the seats. But the front 5 or 6 feet will be like black velvet or some kind of black.
Now, what
fabric.
black is that? Is that one of those Tricon? That stuff looks
Tricon black,
super
baby.
That
That's
stuff
what's
looks
on here.
super reflective, though.
No, it's not gonna stay like that. That's flat too. I did flat on that. So, I mean, I got 2,000 lumen lights plus that little light in there shining too. So, I mean, it's super bright in there right there with those pictures. So,
Get
but
a higher nap roller, it'll break up the.
yeah, I mean, like I said, this is just one coat.
Yeah,
It may take 3 coats of this black just to cover everything up because
chalkboard wall I did on just that one, and I mean it was only like whatever 3 feet wide, and I had like a 12-inch border. Dude, that thing took I kid you not, like 7 coats.
Yep.
Like I will never do chalkboard. That stuff is crazy. So
did you prime it first?
yeah.
So you did prime first. Yeah.
It's black.
Yeah, it's crazy how velvet would embarrass any type of black paint you put.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I spent so much money buying all kinds of black paint. My garage is actually just filled of cans of paint that I thought would work.
I mean,
Man,
eventually the
I
star
just ended
ceiling
up
will
with
go up there.
velvet.
Eventually
did
the star ceiling will go there and you won't even, be able to see. It's more or less just to make sure that nothing bleeds through.
Are you doing the star for the entire ceiling or just the middle section?
Whatever in between the drop down, in between that.
Yeah, in between.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
are you doing it yourself?
It's a big area. I don't know yet. I've seen panels and stuff like that. It'll eventually come. That's going to be like the last, one of the last things. So, excuse me.
Bless you.
So that's a 2026 project.
But yeah, no, I took a vacation.
2027 ball line.
I took a vacation for next week. So starting Saturday, I'm going to be building the riser. The room will be completely painted by Saturday.
Wow.
So it'll
you'll be ready.
We might be planning a home theater hub live stream from Florida.
yeah.
Right?
Sometime in the spring.
Now, I'm hoping to be able to start watching movies by Christmas. So I'm going to get all the speakers ran, pull all of them pulled. The riser isn't going to take much. I'm buying 2x12s, so they're I don't have to do any stacking or anything like that.
And it's wall to wall, right?
Just about wall to wall for the riser with an angled in step coming down in the front. So it shouldn't take long. I mean, I should be able to bang that out in a day or two. The only thing that might make it a little complicated because I'm thinking about throwing some 8-inch near fields in the front for the front row. So it's with a 12-inch 12x12. I think I could securely put some 8-inch drivers in there, like 4 of them for the couch.
You think I'm doing the SVS in walls, or you're just gonna go with DIY?
I haven't thought about it yet, to be honest with you. I'm gonna make it to where it's easily changeable for that front board, so that way I can change it if I need to. I'm putting rock wool in there. I'm not doing any blown in or anything like that.
Yeah.
So Skylake says make them 10s. Yeah, I mean, if with a 12-inch board, it might be kind of tight. You don't got much to grip onto there.
You're gonna blow out the.
So, but yeah, I'm thinking about doing that also. But yeah, even if I don't do it right away, I'm gonna make it to where that front board will just flop down. Everything will just be screwed in, not nailed or anything like that. So the front board will just drop down, and I interchange what I need to as far as receptacles and everything else like that. So Jeremy, getting to you, sir. Sorry to get sidetracked there. Did you happen to see any movies this holiday? Where the
We
holiday
did one
time?
on Sunday. Yeah, I think we did one on Sunday. We've been working our way through the Marvel Cinematic Universe from the beginning with my kids. So
Now, are you going in order, or are you going in the suggested order?
I'm sticking to original theatrical release order.
There you go. That's what I like to do.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to too. Right. I've been thinking about this, doing all the Marvels, doing all of the Lord of Rings, right?
Yep.
All the Harry Potters, all the John Wicks. Just I've been looking forward to that. That's how I'm gonna watch, right?
Yeah.
I did get this in the other day.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. My son's just about 11.
Yeah, -1, right?
Look at what they did to my cover, though. Look at this. It came.
It's a little.
They tore it up, man. So.
Yeah,
but
the 4K just came out. So
the 4K for the US, or was that
for
the US version?
For the US, right? Yeah, the 4K for the US is out. So because I got the original one from Japan, I had that imported,
and
then the 4K for the US is out now. So if anyone is interested in getting that, and yeah, I picked up this.
That's a good one.
Overlord's a good one. That's a good demo movie.
And then I picked up just another copy of this because the original one I got was just acting up. I'm not sure.
That's probably your.
A lot of
trying
players
to read that
having
60 frames per second.
I know a lot of players have just been having issues. I'm just gonna throw it in the Oppo, man.
Yeah.
And let it do its thing instead of ripping it. So, but I haven't seen the Overlord yet, so I'll probably see that.
Overlord's a good demo movie. A lot of people use that for demos, so you'll probably wind up adding that to your list.
Yep.
So so I didn't get a chance to watch.
That's another one.
Oh, U571. That's a good one too.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch anything over because we were traveling and everything else like that. But we were only there for two days. We went up Wednesday and came back on Friday. I wanted to beat that traffic. I didn't want to be sitting in Thanksgiving traffic coming home on the weekend because it's brutal down in South Florida here. So, but I'm glad everybody had a great Thanksgiving and enjoyed some movies in their theater, because that's what it's all about, right? So Jeremy, give us a little bit of insight of what's going on that channel that you got over there.
Yeah. So the last couple of things that I've been doing have been a little bit less theater and more infrastructure. So if we kind of do the walk around thing, I'll show a little bit of it off. But I did a big Ubiquiti network overhaul, did some power management overhaul. So I've been talking about that stuff. It's been a big year for video in here as well, completing the chain of MadVR to the JVC NZ900 now, and then putting the Panamorph on it. The 900 and the Panamorph went in the latter part of this year as well.
What do you think of the Panamorph? I have the DCR.
Yep. It's cool. My prior setup with an NX7 and no lens was only throwing about 150 nit. Or I'm sorry, it was throwing 51 nits onto my screen. And that was probably even measuring a little bit high, measuring a little generous. But the 900 with the DCR calibrated and down one fan curve essentially on the 900 is putting 105 nits, like full.
It's double.
Yeah. And calibrated. Sammy Prescott Jr. came over in October, and that's calibrated, and that's 105 measured on his equipment, not just my
Your
cheap.
Spider X.
Yeah. No, for me, I just measure light on the cheap little Amazon meter, but he had his pro level stuff in here, so.
I know we need to get Sammy down to Dallas one of these days, man.
Yeah, it was cool. He was coming through Michigan, and he spent a whole Sunday. We were hanging out, made dinner, and we did the stuff in here, and got to know each other pretty good. I still need to get him on the channel and do a live and talk through the calibration experience. But he did the whole 3D LUT in the Mad VR, like everything to the nines. So, does the Mad VR,
does that do Dolby Vision also? Does that pass Dolby Vision or no?
It can. I think in one of the more recent firmwares, it'll do Dolby Vision and LLDV stuff. I don't even use it, honestly. I've had this conversation with a number of folks like Sammy and like Chris Deering and others, and I know a lot of people really try to force Dolby Vision into their projection theater setups, but I haven't bothered. I don't think the difference is worth the complexities, I guess.
Yeah, I know that the Lumigen just did an update recently to allow DV to pass through also, and obviously it does its conversion, just like the Mad VR does. I think the Mad VR can remain in HDR though, but the Lumigen for the most part scales back to SDR, but Rec 2020. So
no, that's how this is set up in the Mad VR. It passes everything. The projector is BT 2020 SDR. But again, I just haven't messed with it. Technically I could now because the Strato V, I have the Strato running in here, but I've just been sticking to downloading HDR10 and sticking HDR10. But the difference between 105 nits and 51 and the NX7 to the NZ900 is transformative. And the lens is putting about a little better than 20% more brightness than without it. So on that alone, right, at 105 nits with the lens, 80-ish without it, I'm happy to have the lens on there. You can see it's actually right above my head right there.
Yeah. And the NX7 is 2 generations now behind the NX900. So
yeah.
Peanut butter chocolate stout.
Oh boy.
You go from blueberry to peanut butter chocolate stout.
That just sounds like a stomach bubbler, man.
You gotta widen your palate, man.
I mean, I'm gonna play around with it also because I have the Lumigen. I'm looking forward to the new one that comes out. I'll probably sell and get, because I have the 4242, so I don't have the 2.1 capability. And I was thinking about using this just as a switcher because my AVR, the Lindorf, I have one of the older, it's not older, it's MP60, but it doesn't have 2.1. I can send it back, but it's like almost $2,500 to get them to put the new board in. So I can just use the Lumigen to pass all the video and just shoot all the audio separately over to the processor. So yeah, no, it's I'm definitely looking forward to upgrading to either the Mad VR or the new Lumigen that's coming out in the beginning of the year sometime.
Yeah, I want to get a video. I have a plan for a video coming up to basically I want to detail like the 8 things that the Mad VR is doing in the room essentially, because now with the lens and fixing barrel distortion and after the calibration. Like the Envy is doing a lot in here.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's night and day. It definitely is. I mean, from when I set it up on my, I had I still have it, but I have the, what is that? The Black Diamond. And I ran it through just some settings that Jim gave to me from, Lumigen. I mean, it was night and day difference, just from just keying in his settings that he gave me very quickly. That's not even going through calibration or anything, so it's definitely doing a lot, like you said. So both of those, the Mad VR and the it
So
might be something that, like, you need to look into, because you're more of a video file than me.
Yeah, I'm more of a video person than, but did you have to go through the learning curve after doing the calibration? Because, most times when you do a calibration, it's usually not as bright or, like like when I do my TV calibration, the first time I did it, I had to cancel it because I was like, man, because now you're getting hopefully more accurate colors, but they're not necessarily the bright popping colors that you're probably used to before you did the calibration. So did you notice that type of difference for you?
I would say not, but I also added the lens almost
Oh yeah, so that
almost
yeah.
directly in conjunction with Sammy doing the cal.
Okay.
So everything kind of congealed together at the same time. I did have the 900 for a few weeks running just with the Envy without the lens. And I had it tuned all the way up. But I was probably in the same band. So then adding the lens, doing the cal, turning the laser down, all kind of ended back up around the same place that I was before. So
No, that's good. That way you're not running the projector as much, right? As hard with the turning it down,
Yeah.
but getting the same results, So,
yeah,
I mean, they say they're 20,000 hours, but, you never know what can happen, right? These things haven't been out that long that, I'm sure they beta tested them, but you just never know. I actually watched something the other day with JVC. I think Shane Lee had them on, and they talked about that they can replace a laser. So
yeah.
I didn't. We were all skeptical about whether that could happen. So it looks like you got a fellow Michiganer up there. Terry Johnson said you didn't know you were in Michigan.
Yeah, he's up here. I'm down here. Got to use the hand. That's the Michigan thing.
Oh, okay.
The mitten, right?
Let's see. So we got a question. You may be able to answer this, Jeremy. Question, Jeremy, by the way, guys, Jeremy is a dealer. He's a Snap-on AV dealer. Do you have any insights on the new Control 4?
No, not yet. I do have the new Halo update, which is pretty cool. So this just forced out. They changed the UIs and some of the features, and the navigation of the Halo changed quite a bit just this past week.
Okay.
There's more coming from what they announced at CEDIA, I think, into the new year. I think I'm curious to see what form it takes with more integration with Apple and Apple HomeKit. And I'm hoping to be able to do some more direct, like S-Lady control of Control 4 in that way. And I think I probably am going to update my controller. I still have a last generation EA5. I think I'm going to update to the current generation core model, because I have a feeling more of the features are going to be core specific as well. Like Apple Music just came natively to Control 4, but I think you have to have a core controller for that. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah,
At this point, I don't think anything's happening this year now.
I only have the one room, so I just have the what's that, the 3, I think it is, the one of the smaller one that you can start off with.
Yep.
So
cool.
I only have the one room that I'm controlling. So I don't even have. I don't know why. I live in a 2018 house, but there's no Ethernet anywhere. I mean, there's like one run. So I guess they thought Ethernet wasn't necessary. It should all just be Wi-Fi, right? So
I run the whole house on Control 4 quite a lot but only one controller. But I used the 5-level controller.
So it looks like you got a fan here, Croson, for be someone for the international beer pubs here.
Oh yeah, I go to a lot of beer fests. I know a lot of. I mean, if I didn't like drinking it more than I do making it, I would probably own my own brewery. I know a lot of brewers. Actually, one of the guys I know actually sold his to a big corporation, so he's now officially retiring.
Nice.
Yeah.
Going back to the Kaleidescape. Kaleidescape said they didn't need Dolby Vision for years because the projector owners are basically, I mean, I think they wanted to broaden the market, right? I mean, there are a lot of people that requested Dolby Vision. One of the biggest naysayer things was, hey, you're paying $5,000 or $4,000 for a player, and then buying the server also, you're up right around $9,000, and it didn't have Dolby Vision. So I think it did open the market up to the OLED TV users, or even anyone with LED or LCD. It definitely opened that up for everyone else. What do you think about that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this was the case more several years back. I would say that, yeah, their focus was selling to projection format, so Dolby Vision didn't matter. They were selling to dedicated home theaters, but I mean, they want to open the market. TV sizes at 55 used to be big, and then it was 65, and then 77 and 83. Now we've got 98 and 100.
Oh,
There's
shit,
a lot of
$1,500 for a 98-inch Hisense right now. I mean, and it looks gorgeous. It's not a G4, right? It's not a Sony, well, your highest Sony, but I mean, look, when you're getting a TV that big, it's more for a field of view, right? It's not really for that much clarity, unless you want to spend 20 grand, right, on one. But yeah, I mean, I literally came this close to picking up that $1,600 100-inch for my room that's going to be outside of my theater, just to have something on the wall there. So I'm still debating. They're still running the Black Friday specials and stuff like that. So I'm still debating what I want to do. My wife will be happy when I get all the equipment out of the so-called dining room, all the couches and everything else like that.
Yeah.
All right. So what else you got going on the channel? You had a video about the, speaking of Snap One, you had a video about the WattBox. You got all that installed, and what's your thoughts on that?
I quite like it. So I had been running, I had some WattBox stuff when we first set up our system in this house, way before this theater room existed. And then along the way, I had wanted to get a UPS in there, and I changed it over to a combination of a Furman power conditioner and a CyberPower UPS, kind of splitting the rack. And I've been looking at trying to just sweeping through everything that I have and kind of doing various upgrades, consistency upgrades, and like capability upgrades is what I would say. That's what drove me on the Ubiquiti stuff. And so looking at power, and actually too, the battery in my CyberPower, I think, was ready to be replaced. So it was either, well, replace the battery and stick to it, or it's time to change to something else. And then I was looking at the WattBox stuff, and I liked the cohesiveness of that. They have the online UPS and the online WattBox equipment is kind of really made to work together, right? So you plug the power distribution unit WattBox into the UPS plugs into the wall, and it's all pretty cohesive there. And they just launched new models as well within the last couple of months. So they have a double conversion UPS. So if you want to isolate your equipment from wall power, as I understand it, like double conversion is the best you can get, because in a double conversion UPS, the power is being transformed from AC to DC to AC again internally, and completely clean, right, and isolated. So I've been super happy with it. I have a video coming, I think it'll publish on Monday, where I basically turn everything on in different combinations and show a little bit of the power loading and stuff like that. So I went with the 200 VA, and the WattBox and the UPS are both 20 amp rated. So now I'm really taking advantage of the juice that a dedicated and properly wired 20 amp circuit is delivering to the rack. To the point where I'm running my amps and everything on
So
that power.
you got it on the WattBox. Yeah, that was the next question I was going to
Yeah,
have.
I need one of those watt boxes, man. I've been looking out, but obviously they're dealer only. So
Yeah, the thing
Uh,
that enticed me to mine is the fact that it's IP controlled, right? So you can just turn stuff on and off.
Yeah.
Let's just say you're for some reason, I always have to do it at least once or twice a month. I just got to power down my Apple TV, for some reason, to get it to reboot. And instead of me going all the way to the rack, boom, 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 just
Yep.
power that one down, power it back on. I'm still sitting in the theater. I'm not having to get up to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Same thing with sometimes the Zapiti, or sometimes something else would. I will never say the Kaleidescape, because that's the best piece of equipment that I've ever owned as far as working wise. I've never had to power cycle a Kaleidescape, not one time. It turns on and it just works. But every other piece of equipment in my rack, I've had to power cycle at least once or twice. So
Yeah.
but that's what attracted me to the WattBox, just being able to control it. If you got company over, it's like, oh, wait a minute, let me go. No, I just power cycle. Hey, just give me a second. Just power cycle it right here while you're going through your demo.
just
Yeah,
just yank it off the wall, man.
hard reset. Yeah,
Don't do that.
the 820 the 820 is Ethernet connected to the network itself, and if you go to the IP address of the 820, you can see all the outlets, and you can just click to
Click and turn it up.
It tells you like the current wattage consumption being drawn on each outlet as well, which is kind of neat. And then the 820 has a uplink. You basically just use another RJ45 Ethernet cable, and you can wire the UPS to the 820. I haven't dug into the oversee, which is more of the like kind of dealer level programmability that you have access to. So I need to play with that. And they're actually supposed to be releasing PC software for the UPSs as well. I don't, last I checked, it hadn't been released yet. But there's some kind of advanced configuration and information program that you plug the UPS. It has a USB port on the back, so you can plug it into your computer and access some more advanced settings and whatnot. The other thing that I haven't done too, I need to get, I'm set up as a Snap dealer, but I'm not set up as a Control 4 certified authorized dealer,
Okay.
at least not yet. So I have another friend that is, and he admins my system. So I need to get him over here. But the other thing that's cool with the WattBox, because it's under the Snap banner with Control 4, is you can actually make the outlets programmably cyclable or power managed in Control 4, which is pretty cool. But there's a little bit of setup that you need to do that. Like you add the WattBox to your Control 4 config, and you have a native ability to be able to force power cycles on stuff. But the way I understand it, in the Control 4 config, you can set up basically software relays, and then you link the software relays to the outlets on the WattBox, and then you can fully control on-off state, which is pretty cool, because I've got one piece of equipment in there, my gaming PC is really what it is, that right now I actually have that plugged into a modular Control 4 power outlet, because whenever I use the gaming PC, I like the gaming PC to boot clean. That way it's always assured that I've got like the the most possible stable gaming experience I can get. And I manage that by having power taken off completely. The PC goes dead. And then when power is restored via the outlet, the motherboard settings are set to boot the PC power restoration. Yep. So if I can do that on just by plugging the PC into one of the WattBox outlets and then manage it with Control 4, it's pretty sweet. So more to do.
So those of you that don't know that are joining us from Jeremy's channel, we appreciate you hanging in there with us. We generally try to do a home theater tour, on our show just about every week, as long as we have a guest to do it. We like to talk about industry stuff, new equipment coming out, we talk about movies and stuff like that. So that banner that you just saw going across the bottom there, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, we would love to show off your home theater. That's mainly what we do. We go through virtually go through people's home theaters, and they usually take their cell phone and walk around the theater. And Jeremy's going to do that here in a little bit with us, and we definitely appreciate that for him. Did want to address this question right here from Julius. I know it's more geared towards Jeremy. I know that Paul has been running a Plex server for quite some time and has multiple users on that too. So maybe he has some input on that also.
He's the Plex master. So
yeah. So Jeremy, what do you think about that? Maxing out the memory for the new Synology, would that benefit?
Yeah, Julius just picked this up. Julius is he's pretty much the original tech enthusiast. I think he was subscriber #1 on the channel.
Wow.
So he's been there from the beginning. So he's getting this stuff set up. In some of my content earlier this year, I have a DS1821 Plus, and I beefed it up pretty good. I bumped it up to 32 gig of RAM. I put a SSD read cache drive in it, and now I've got a 10G Ethernet card in it as well. But I don't use it as a Plex server. I do have it feeding some Infuse. I do have it feeding some rips, a very minor amount of ripped content to Infuse on my Apple TV. So we'll see what Paul says. My gut feeling would be that for Plex, if you're not transcoding and doing more advanced Plex features, it might not matter so much, or unless you have maybe a large library, it could maybe speed up some of the library access. But I would guess it probably wouldn't make too much of a difference. I don't know what you
because I think the 923 Plus comes with 4 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much you already have on that one.
No, you're absolutely right. You don't need to beef up your RAM necessarily, because transcoding is done at either the graphics card with the hardware encoding, or if you have a NAS that has a external graphics card, and it's all done in the graphics card. If you have software transcoding, well, it doesn't matter how much RAM you throw at that thing, it's going to suck ass.
It's the software. It's going to be crap.
But what you can do is, there's a transcoding, there's a setting in there where you tell it where your transcoding folder is. And if you set that to your RAM, it can be quicker. And that's in the Plex settings. There's an actual folder location, and you have to set that. All your NASs have it's a temporary, mount, if you would, but it's actually the physical RAM. It's like I think in QNAP it's dev/SMH, like shared memory handle, or I know I'm getting that wrong, but it's basically you go into Plex and you point it to that, and then that can give you some improvement on like loading your posters and stuff like that. But as far as your Plex itself, unless you're doing, like Jeremy said, if you're doing like virtual machines and stuff like that, and you're doing Plex, then yes, you need more RAM. So your virtual machines won't tell your Plex server, hey, hold on, pause, type of deal. But,
yeah, I boosted mine for reasons like that. I was going to try to run a Windows 11 VM on it. And
in that case, you want as much as you can get at that point. Like 128 gig isn't even enough these days. You run like 5 or 6 virtual servers, and everything has its own hog of memory. So But
Yeah, anytime we have a Plex question, this is the guy we go to, because Paul is definitely the expert on the Plex. Although you have kind of started leaning over to the Zadoos now, right? Using Zadoo more.
I only use the Zadoo now just because of it. I can break everything down and use like it'll automatically tone map better is really the reason I do it.
Yeah.
So that's the real reason. You can tell it, you can manipulate the EasyHT data however you want. So it's like having a cheap ass Mad VR built into your as far as tone mapping the nits. Now it doesn't do frame by frame or anything like that. It's just, hey, here's the capabilities of my display. Start with this,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if you guys haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to all the channels here. We got Horizon Home Theater, EasyHT Tech, and then Tech Enthusiasm. So make sure you show us some love and keep boosting Jeremy's count over there. He's looking for that 25,000. I'm looking for 1,000. I think Ike's trying to push 2,000 right now. So we definitely appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to the channels. As we spoke about, we do this channel, we do this home theater hub. We do this every Thursday night at 9:30, except for the one night that we didn't during Thanksgiving last week. So we just broke our 1 year anniversary a couple weeks back. So appreciate all the support that you guys have given us up until this point. So thank you so much for that.
we should start counting
Yep.
our episodes like year 2 episode.
Yeah, you need a new season.
5. That way you don't have to remember, oh, we're on episode 200. What?
To be honest with you, I just go back to the last one and look at the number. So hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully Ike puts it in the description correctly.
I'm gonna start putting it in
Yeah, he's
Roman
gonna start
numerals.
saying.
I'm gonna put it in
between,
X1. I'm gonna put it in Roman numerals.
No, so
Don has to
I have a
Google it.
little book here that I just read. Honestly, my numbers. I used to have a bunch of stuff put in here, but that I don't really like to plan anything. So I just like this to be totally spontaneous. And even when we do home theater tours, I don't even want to look like when we're backstage, people try to show us stuff. I want to get like the natural reaction, like right when we're doing the show. So I don't even really want to look at people's theaters prior to doing the show. And other than, how you doing, how's the family and stuff like that. And in the green room in the backstage, I try not to even talk anything. That way we get natural reactions on the show too. Right. So Jeremy, we got the WattBox. I'm very interested about the Ubiquiti upgrade because I've been thinking about doing the same thing. I have 5 gig AT&T here at the house.
I've been preaching him that, and here Jeremy comes and says,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I'm even worried
I'm
about.
like, "Oh, okay, I see."
I'm even worried
You
about
told me I
Don
didn't
thinking
need it.
about
Is
it.
what you told me. You said
He's
I
like,
didn't need it.
sold.
That is gonna take longer than the home theater build, man. Don trying to figure out the
No,
Ubiquiti.
because he'll get the unified cloud key and just give me the login, and he'll
Yeah,
just
just fly Paul and myself.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
doing
no,
one weekend.
I'm super impressed with the Ubiquiti stuff. I'm a big fan of devices that are powerful and have nice, let's say, powerfully usable UIs, and Ubiquiti fits that bill 100%. Like I've learned more cool things about like my network and just managing my network and being able to do it easily with their stuff than anything before. Same idea before, like going from a Frankenstein of a Furman and a cyber power and whatever. On the power side, on the network side, I had a Netgear router, I had some switches, whatever, but a Motorola cable modem. Now it's all just boom. It's all Ubiquiti, and it's sweet. When we go in there, I can show you what I have, but I already have more on the way. So from this past weekend, I've got 8 cams and the doorbell coming.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a
I
rabbit.
want-
It's another rabbit hole, man. Once you
Yeah.
start,
Yep.
yeah,
It's fun. I'm gonna end up getting the Dream Machine. I need to upgrade my core router. I've had my core router is actually started off CLI only. So I did everything CLI, and man, once you get into the Unify, ecosystem where it's all GUI
Yeah.
interface, oh man, I love that stuff. It's like click, click, click. Done.
Like walk around your house with the Wi-Fi Man app open and see like this visual map of how good your Wi-Fi. Like
Wi-Fi is all the
Exactly.
hotspots and the
No
dead spots.
questions. Yep,
awesome.
exactly.
So you'd have to, I guess, put some access points, in the areas that aren't,
Yeah, it's
You know
a
what?
crazy, it's a crazy ecosystem, man. It's
a commercial.
large.
It's a commercial
Yeah,
grade
it's
wireless
like it's
that's
busy.
affordable. It is straight up. That's what it is. It is commercial grade. It competed with Cisco.
It reminds me
many
of
years.
Cisco when Cisco was, everybody's end goal.
The other thing it's made me fall in love with is the concept of power over Ethernet. So now I'm like, I want everything to be power over
So,
Ethernet.
yeah,
Give me
I
an-
think
give me
it's
a
the future,
PoE
though. It's gonna be the future at some point.
Yep. Now you got like PoE plus
PoE.
plus plus coming at like 100 watt.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
So you
super
could run a
yeah,
TV on
that's crazy.
on Ethernet, man.
Yep. Just plop a new TV on there. You might have to run 2 cables for that 100-inch TV, though.
Yeah,
it's cool
and I'm sitting here talking about I only got one Ethernet drop in the whole house. So and the bad part about it, it'd be okay if I lived in a 1-story house, but all my wires would have to run and then run through this. I'd have to drop hat channel lights and all that stuff just to feed the crap through, and then on top of that, my walls are made of block. So I mean, I'm in South Florida, so I'm 100% hurricane proof here, other than flooding. But so what they do is when they hang the drywalls, they just use a 1/4-inch furring, and then they actually nail the furring to the block, put very little insulation in there, and then all the drywall goes right there. So I'm talking about nothing to feed wires through. So it would be really difficult for me. So that's why I've invested into the Deco, the Wi-Fi 7 system that I have, because I'm actually pulling like 2 gigs over Wi-Fi with that thing. So it's not bad,
Yep.
So it's pretty fast.
I guess you got it back up and running because you were down there for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened the last time we were on the show. This is why I have 2 ISPs at the house. I have Comcast Gig Speed and I have this, and I have AT&T, because for sure I live like literally a rock's throw away from the Everglades. So I'm like as far west as you can go without running into the Everglades. And
if you get a Unify router, it'll auto switch for your backup.
Yeah, there we go. I need to do that. I need to do that actually.
Now that's the higher end,
having one Wi-Fi SSID that runs on like 3 or 4 different frequency bands is sweet. Like my old Netgear didn't even do that. It's like you had to have a separate SSID for each 2.4 or 5G or whatever. Now it's just one, and everything just auto feeds or auto connects to its best available connections, and you don't have to.
Yeah, the person that turned me on to Ubiquiti was Matt from Brolic Media a while back, because he's going to do all my Control 4 stuff. I got all the stuff from him, but it's I told him, I have the Netgear switch. He's like, no, you need a better switch, to be able to run all the Control 4 stuff and everything else. So eventually I'll get to that. Yeah, but I'm only running one room, to be honest with you. So I'll see how it does first, and then
one room, 400 devices.
It's not 400 devices. It might be like 20, but yeah. So no. So what else did you got going on in the channel here? Let me take a look real quick. We covered the Ubiquiti. We covered the Kaleidescape.
Yeah, that's been the main. I said the 900, the Panamorph.
Yeah, the Panamorph. Let's see. What else do we got here? We talked. You briefly talked about the JVC. You upgraded from. You mentioned it earlier. You went from, was it the NZ7 to the 900?
NX7.
NX7. So NX7 to the 900. So that was quite a jump for you. That was two. You jumped the whole production model, right? Because it went to the NZ next.
Yep.
And
two generations and effectively one level in the lineup because
you went from the 7 to the 9.
Yeah.
So you skipped the 8.
Yeah.
That was a huge jump, man.
I saw the 900. I have the NZ8. So I saw the 900 at M-Wave when we went out to M-Wave, and it was definitely impressive.
Yeah.
It definitely looked brighter than the projector that I have, and it did seem to have a little bit more contrast than the projector that I currently have. So I think it was a noticeable difference. I don't know if it's enough for me to, as being a JVC dealer, and I think you're a JVC dealer also. I think it's a necessity for me to make the upgrade, right? For if I'm going to have people into the showroom and everything else once it's done. So I think it's a necessity for me to upgrade.
You just need an excuse. Just send me the NZ8. I can help put some hours in it before you.
I can send it to you for a fee. Certainly, I got to be able to pay for the other one. It doesn't come free.
The shipping fee. That's all. That's the only fee you're getting from me.
Yeah, it's $400. You can ship one of those.
FedEx $350 or something. It's the only fee you're getting.
I'll send it to you for a fee.
I almost pulled the trigger on an NZ9 a couple times earlier this year, and so. One of those. I'm happy that I didn't.
Right.
Because then I was able to. As soon as the 900, the idea of the 900 came along, it's like, all right, that's what I want for sure. I mean, after that, where do you even go in a projector? You're talking a $45,000 Barco or a $75,000 GTZ 380. So
and even the Barcos at that point, they're not going to have the contrast. You're only getting brightness, right? Yeah, exactly. You're not going to have the contrast.
You got to think bigger, Jeremy. The Christie, man. That's where you got to.
Griffin.
I've seen one. Yeah, we have a guy in Michigan that has he has the Eclipse.
Model. Eclipse.
Yep, it's insane.
They're beautiful for sure.
Those things are OLED, man. It's crazy, especially the Griffin. Yeah, Fred, nobody wants your 100-inch Vizio TV, man.
I want one, but I don't want it for the project. I don't want it for the room. My screen's going to be 160 inches. I think I'm going to be pushing that NZ8 to the max at that 160 inches. And I got room to go bigger, so. I could probably go to a 180 because I got two 21-inch doors on the side that's going to allow it still.
Just go wall to wall, man.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Let's not give you any bad ideas. Just finish the damn.
No, I'm definitely going to finish the room first. And
before you go breaking down any more walls, trying to make it.
No more walls.
This is the face of doubt right here.
You see, this is where the screen's going to be on this double 2x4 here. So it's going to go from there to there. So I actually have room if I wanted to on both sides to add extra, and I'm sitting at 160 here. So I still have.
I'm at 160. I'm at 163 scope, at about 13 feet sitting back, and I find it pretty comfortable. 180 would be big.
Mr. Giles in the house. What's up, Giles? You got the link, man. You're welcome to join if you want. It's the same one we used before. So we're going to go ahead and get into the tour, if that's okay with you, Jeremy.
Yeah, let's go. Should we start in the let's start with the gear and we'll come back to the room, or you want to go the other way?
So
You want to
you
use
might
your
want to
phone or
you
you
might
want to
want to
use
mute your
your
computer so that we can hear
yeah,
you
mute your
on the.
computer
All
and
right,
unmute your phone. I think your phone is muted.
So highlight him, Ike. I don't know how to highlight him on here.
You do not know how to
all right.
highlight,
Can you hear me
man?
all
Try
right?
again. Yeah, we can hear you good.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
All right, let's go out. So here's the doors. So I'm gonna go. We're in a basement. So I am in Southeast Michigan, which gives me the ability to have a basement. We have a fully finished basement down here. I will say this is the best tech purchase I made this whole year.
Oh, that's like the gym, right? The
Yeah, the tonal. The thing is so
The
good.
tonal.
All right,
You
so you
have
can
do you have acoustic treatment on that door? I know you're going into the rack, but
we'll come back. I'll
okay.
talk about that when we go back in there and a little
Yeah.
bit of kind of the history of the room. But let's go over the. So I guess the other thing that I should comment on is this house. It was a custom build. We've been here about 10 years. Um, we're kind of in a downtown area of like a quaint New Englandy feel type of town here in Michigan. And we knocked down the existing house. We custom architected and built this. The basement was designed in from the beginning, finished with the room structure and everything. But there was no theater to begin with. The room that is the theater was originally intended to be a gym, and we never used it for a gym. But in any case, so this is our storage room, built-in racks and all that stuff in here. And so from the very beginning, all of my gear has been in here. And again, there was no theater in the beginning. I did AV only in our living room upstairs, which is still outfitted for AV. But these racks have always been here. So this is like a double. I think these are 40 or it's about a 6 foot tall rack, roughly on the casters. A double. It's a strong brand. It's Snap AV stuff. So you can see all the wires come in. This is the whole infrastructure of the house wired here. Again, drops for cameras, lots of Ethernet drops all around the house. We got 8 zones of distributed audio all around the house. There's a lot of cabling that goes to the living room as well. And if I just make sure you guys can hear me okay, right? Test 1, 2.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah, we can hear you
All right, cool.
well. Yeah.
All right. So everything feeds down into the back of the rack there. On top of the rack, that's my gaming PC. Right now, that's a 11900K 4090 gaming PC. That I don't use that in the theater. That only runs to the living room. Looking forward, hopefully in January, to rebuild that with a 5090 and a AMD 9800 X3D. Just completely rebuild it. I mentioned the Synology DS1821 Plus. So there's a little bit of rips on there. The only really rips that I maintain nowadays is like stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Some guilty pleasures like the old original 1980s G.I. Joe and Transformers cartoons and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's a file server, it's a photo server, and other purposes along those lines. So there's the Ubiquiti stack that's getting started. Enterprise 48 PoE with a couple, so that everything is 2.5. Every RJ45 port is 2.5 gig on this switch, and then it has 4 10G ports as well. And all of the 2.5 Gs are PoE plus ports. These are just patch panels, pass-throughs. That's the Dream Machine Pro Max. So it's got a couple of hard drive bays. Nothing in there yet, but that'll be the NVR for the cameras when they come. And then I got their cable modem. I don't have fiber, so 1.2 gig cable-based internet still. If we keep going down, so the rack is kind of split. So the left side is the living room system, and then the right side, under the Ubiquiti down to the floor, is home theater gear. So my living room is pretty kitted out, pretty much on the level of the theater as well. Let's come back to that side. Actually, we'll do the theater side first. So Apple TV 4K, that's my favorite. I'd say general use device. I'm an Apple household. I use iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, Apple services, all that stuff. So very easy choice to be a fan of the Apple TV. Kaleidescape Strato V, and that's a compact Terra Prime 24. Love having the server back in. I did use the V for the purposes of experimentation. I did use the V standalone for a couple months there, but I think the superior experience, if you can do it, is to have a server. So this thing holds like 400 movies. I think we got like 300 or so movies loaded on there, but my Kaleidescape library's got like 1,500 movies in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got into, so there's a lot of like I've been in Kaleidescape as an owner user for 6 years. I think 2018, 2017 is when I first bought in. So when I joined, they were still part of Ultraviolet. So I had a ton of movies poured in, and then just buying on sales and stuff along the way. MadVR Mark II, NV Extreme, so that's the big boy, doing again all kinds of stuff in the theater. Tone mapping, motion AI. We talk about motion AI a little bit, but I actually like it. I run motion AI all the time. Geometry correction, aspect ratio management, subtitle management. It's got a 3D LUT calibration running in there. So it's doing a lot of work in the system. Anthem AVM 90. To me, that's the best buy in audio preamplifiers, like bar none. I know everybody really loves the Trinoff, but at 20,000 versus 6,500, I don't think you can beat this unit. And then I love these two.
You
This
had a
was
Trinoff in before it, didn't you?
when I very first started the channel, I was able to borrow a Trinoff from a friend for just a couple of weeks, and the couple of videos that I made about it, I actually kind of really struggled with it because I just jumped into using it without any preparation or training, which kind of learned me on the idea that if you want to do a Trinoff, you want to do a Trinoff well, you either need somebody that really knows the device to program it for you, or you really got to make sure that you're prepared to spend the time to get the most out of it. So, I mean, it's definitely like you got Trinoff, you got Storm. That's like the pinnacle of the hobby when it comes to audio.
Right.
But again, I would put this thing up against any of them. And it's not like I have, if you don't have 30 speakers and you don't need to do really intense like waveforming and because you have like non-standard stuff that you're trying to program around, things like that. If you've got a pretty basic layout room, up to 15 speakers and 4 subwoofers, I think to me the Anthem stuff is fantastic. Arc Genesis gives really good results in a system that's uh, manageable, very manageable to learn, and I think some of the best UIs in the business. And like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of UIs. So that's a pair of NAD M28s. Freaking love these amplifiers. They're dead silent. I had some
Yeah.
Parasounds before, which actually resulted with the Parasounds. I had a lot of buzzing in my speakers and stuff like that. These things are just they're
I
just
think
class.
Gene's a big fan of those too from Audioholics. I think
Yeah.
he really liked those amplifiers also.
I think they're like the trifecta of Focal, Anthem, and NAD is a combination that just like it sings, and it's the cleanest sound. It's just fantastic. So I like the Anthem stuff so much that I run an STR. This is the STR preamp for my living room. I like the NAD stuff so much. That's an M23 that runs the speakers up in the living room. My living room system is a 2.2 channel. So there's running Focal 1000 series in walls up there as well. So this thing runs the mains, and then I have 2 Triad 10-inch bronze in-wall subwoofers up there. So there's a rack amp for each of the in-wall subs. We got the Control 4 EA5. Now that's the oldest thing in the system and probably the next to be replaced. I'm gonna get that upgraded, I think, to a Core 5. Anthem MDX 16. That's our 8 zones of audio. So again, Anthem just stuck with the brand. Although I do have to admit that Ubiquiti launched their audio amplifier, network audio amplifier, and it really has me thinking about transitioning the distributed audio to those, but we'll see. Tucked away in there is our UMA. Then there's just a drawer, and then that's the WattBox UPS. So again, the 2000 VA 20 amp, and the 820 is on the back of the rack. And everything you see, the entire rack is plugged into the 820 and to that UPS, and the living room, the outlet behind my television in the living room that runs the TV right now, also the Apple TV, my Nintendo Switch, and right now I have a PS5 Pro up there as well. That outlet is extended back to this rack through the walls, and that is also plugged in and running on the same power delivery. So the family's actually using the living room right now. So you can see the STR is on, the Anthem is not, and we're only taxing this thing at 26% right now. Watching TV up there.
So you basically you just ran the Romex through the wall, down through the wall, and put a plug on it, and just you're using the outlets made an outlet up there, correct?
Yeah. Here, let me see. I'll pull this rack out a little bit.
I was thinking about doing that for my projector, because my projector's not on a. I was going to put it on a UPS up inside the box, but yeah.
Yeah, so we have this, there's like this utility box back here, which I'm not really going to use anything in the utility box anymore. We did put like a high gain, like local broadcast TV antenna up in the attic, and then that runs to a distribution coax box in here. So there's some other infrastructure that comes here, but this is the plug. So yeah, the plug, there's regular outlets behind the TV upstairs, and then they're Romexed down to this like extension plug. And then this power cable here plugs in, and then that's plugged in to the WattBox. You can see the WattBox kind of down there, the signature orange plugs.
Yeah.
So that's facing out the back of the rack.
And they do a good job too of plugging them different ways. So you got a power strip from them too, then, right?
Yep. Yeah. So there's two strips, one on each side of the rack. So I've really minimized like what's plugged into the strips. So anything that's big is on its own discrete outlet on the WattBox. So the amplifiers are all discretely plugged in. I need to rerun it, but the computer will be discrete. The gaming PC will be discretely plugged in. So the strips are like carrying the preamps and the network gear and the NAS. And there's two of them. There's one here and then one just on the other side, right there.
Okay. I need to get a couple of the strips. I only have the one on the bottom that you have down there, the one that's controllable. So I guess you have like the power strip plugged into the IP controllable, correct?
Correct. Which I do have to advise that like it's generally not advisable to plug like strips into strip. It's kind of like plugging strips into strips. You don't want to daisy chain too much stuff. But that usually boils down to the problem that you get into is if you start overloading individual outlets. And again, we're not doing that because the strip is more about convenience of shortening the runs and plugging lower watt, plugging like lower wattage stuff together into the strip and then into a single outlet. So I've done the math and I've looked at this thing pretty clearly about what the power draws and stuff are, and we're in no danger of overloading any outlets here.
I saw that you were a fan of the Rui Pros, the HDMIs.
Yep.
All right, I saw a couple of them there.
Yep.
How have they been working for you?
Yeah, they're good. So I've got 3 of them pulled between the rack and my living room TV, 2 in one direction and then 1 in the opposite direction. Those are their newer like Crystal. I think they call it the Crystal.
Okay.
It's a HDMI 2.1 cable, but the gaming PC is running on that. We run 4K 120 full RGB. So it's using every bit of the 48 gigabit per second, and it runs flawless. And then I use the blue green style cables for the run from the rack to the projector in the other room.
So, question: your gaming PC is down there. Where do you do your gaming at? In the living room?
In the living room, yep.
So, how is it picking up like your mouse and your keyboard?
So my living room is effectively right up there. It's 1 floor up and 1 room over. So we're probably standing right here at this PC. If I drew a straight line from here to the couch, middle of the couch, maybe it's like 10 or maybe 12 or 15 feet. But we do have to get through the floor and through the wall. But I used a Logitech, was it the K800? It's like a keyboard, mouse, touchpad
Yeah.
combo.
Yep.
And that works wirelessly. It has its little wireless USB dongle. That dongle's plugged into the top one of the top USB ports of the case, and it works flawless. Like it types fine. The mouse control is crisp, so that works wireless. And then you can kind of see these little ears, holes
Yeah.
sticking up off the back.
Yeah.
This is I can't reach it. That's a high gain Wi-Fi Bluetooth antenna. So that's wired into the antenna ports of the motherboard. And I swear to God, I could probably connect a video game controller over Bluetooth and go play at the neighbor's house with as much power
Oh, wow.
as that thing puts out. That's been one of the banes of trying to keep the PC down here, because the merits of keeping the PC down here is yeah, I can run the fans at max, keep the thing nice and cool. It's not making the living room hot in the summer. I don't have to see it. I don't have to hear it. But
Right.
I have had over the years, I have had troubles with, like, I've tried to use the Microsoft Xbox wireless controller adapter, and that thing's just a little itty bitty USB dongle. And so, especially if we do like 4-player family games, like 4 controllers all on the same device, like controllers will start dropping out, and it does turn into a little bit of a hassle. But this has been my solution, is to use the high gain antenna and then use the controllers in a Bluetooth mode, and it works great. So we use both Xbox Elite Series 2, and we have some, I have a PlayStation like DualSense Edge that we all use on the gaming PC.
That's cool. And what are your type of games that you like playing?
So I'd say my gaming tastes have changed over the years. For a good stint there, I played a lot of like online co-op stuff. We were big into Destiny 2, like
Mhm.
high level rating clan kind of thing.
Right.
Nowadays, the last years, it's just too hard getting my groups of friends together to play games anymore. So I mostly play like single player action games. Most recently, I just finished Batman Arkham Knight. I played Warhammer Space Marine, played the first one. My son and we played Ratchet and Clank on the PC here. We play like Lego, like the Lego action games. So mostly stuff like that, shorter. I'm
Okay.
playing Tomb Raider, like the 2013, I think it is, Tomb Raider right now. So I'm actually kind
Yeah.
of mostly been playing more older titles, but Spider-Man, the Sony Spider-Man game, super favorite.
Yeah, I need to get back into gaming. I have a
Yeah.
PS5 that I think I've turned on twice.
Yeah,
Dude, I got
it's
the Pro on release day. Guess where that thing is? It's
It's
still
still
in
in
the
the box.
in the box.
box.
Yeah, yeah.
Still in the freaking box, bro.
I picked up a PS5 Pro because I was prepared to give it one more shot to go back to console, and it's just not good enough. The
No,
PC.
I don't think there's going back. As long as you have a well beefed up PC, I don't think there's going back to console, man.
Yep.
'Cause
Yeah.
mine is still in the box under the table, man. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe I'll get to open it
That's
up
where I
this week.
started. I started gaming back with Quake, Team Arena
Oh,
Battle,
man.
and stuff like that. That was like when I really started getting into gaming.
They need
And
to
then,
bring back Quake, man.
yeah, they need to
2,
do a remake of it for sure.
Quake 2 would be
Yeah,
great, man.
Team
historically,
deathmatch.
historically, I'd say I played a lot more console style games, even though I've been a PC gamer, and I still always play with a controller. I don't play with a keyboard and mouse, but
Yeah,
my
like a remake of Quake 2 would be great, man.
There's nothing like coming home after having a bad day and just throwing in COD and just shooting people, right? I mean, it's a good stress reliever.
I did do a long stint in World of Warcraft as well. My friends and I, we ran a pretty high end guild. My wife and some friends and some cousins. we ran a pretty high end rating guild in WoW for quite a few years too. But I haven't touched that in a while.
My older son was super big in the League of Legends, so
Mhm.
I mean, he used to stream that and play it and all kind of stuff. So he's super big into that game.
Yeah, these days I don't like games that stress me, man. I just play Age of Empires, man. That's easy, minimal stress, man.
All right,
I
should we
don't
head
like to
back?
think too much. The
Head
games these
back to
days
the
have
other room?
too much puzzles.
So that rack looks fantastic, by the way. Thanks
Yep.
for sharing that with us. It's you did a great job on the wiring.
Yeah, that cable
Yeah.
management is top notch, man.
Oh yeah, everything's buttoned up pretty good. I really like these. I just put these in not that long ago as well, the vented spacers, and really made it more kind of systematic. And there is like a in the UK they sell a rack mount for these NAD amps that'll actually give it like a flush presentation, but they're like $250 a piece or something like that. I can't bring
Yeah.
myself to buy them.
Yeah, I know you can buy custom made blanks for certain items like your PS5
Mhm.
and everything else. You might be able to find them maybe
Yeah.
a little bit cheaper than that somewhere.
All right, so let's go back to the room. So again, we're in the basement, so we kind of come down our stairs here, and then there's this double door entrance. So I think, like you asked, these are not acoustic doors. We did do all the doors in the house are like solid maple.
Solid core.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, they are solid core. But again, this room wasn't intended to be a theater, so it had glass panels on it to let light in. But
Oh,
I
okay.
kind of just I blacked them out from the
Yeah,
inside.
I actually thought those are like, like installation, like black installation, but I
Yeah.
guess it's
No, it's just like some like static what's the
yeah,
word I'm looking
film,
for?
like a film.
Like film. Yep. Yep. And then I stuck on just some fabric acoustic panels
Yeah.
to give it a little more
Okay.
bounce kind of off the glass. So it's a double door. Again, not the best. Thankfully it doesn't really rattle. It holds pretty constant. This room, again, it wasn't built to be a theater. It's not double drywalled. It's not hat channeled or anything like that. It's just it was finished. It was finished as it was. And when I did the first iteration of the theater, my goal was to not tear up. Like I didn't want to tear a bunch of drywall down. I didn't want to reconstruct everything. We did put the carpet in. So actually, let me go back out here because this
Yeah,
is
don't be like Don, man. Don't go tearing stuff.
yeah. So this is like it's a hardwood. It's a cut hardwood hickory that has a couple layers of engineered flooring underneath it. We use the same floor through the whole house. And this floor goes into the theater, but we just carpeted this room on top of it. But one of the cool, I ended up with like amongst the many lucky things that I ended up with, this floor floats down here because it's cement slab underneath, and it really gives tactile
Okay.
energy transference because the floor is just loose, right? It's just floating on top of the slab, so the slab's not going to move when the base power hits. Um, but that shake really hits the seats. Every time I give a demo, people ask me if I have transducers, and it's like, no, there's no transducers. Let me come out here again too, and hopefully you can hear this. If I A B C D E F G H I J K
Yep.
L
Oh
M N
yeah.
O P. So
Yep.
we were able to achieve a pretty nice level of like acoustical
Reverberation time.
anchoring in here and whatnot.
Yeah.
So let's see. So the room's like 19 by 18 by 11. We have tall ceilings down here. Our builder recommended that. So we did like it's a 9-foot regular pour, but then we did a couple extra layers of block. So good size, overall good size room.
Yeah, definitely. You don't normally get that type of height in a basement anywhere. So that's
Yeah, I'm super
great.
happy that he made that recommendation. So if you're building a house, it's feasible. It's possible to do that. And if I recall correctly, it didn't cost that much either. So I didn't want to tear too much stuff down. So I surface ran a lot. I did have kind of carte blanche to do whatever I wanted in here because it's dedicated for this purpose. But So we put the carpet in, we painted black. This is that same tricorn Sherwin-Williams flat. If you keep the lights dim, the paint job looks pretty good. If you turn the lights on full blast and walk up to some spots, you can see that I'm not much of a painter, but I did. We put this rug in. This is relatively new, I think, added within the last year or so, just to add a little more black, kind of coming off the screen. The carpet's, I think, darker than it looks in the video feed. It's more of like a darker gray, but I think on camera it looks a lot lighter gray against
Yeah, it's
the other.
showing up almost like a tan almost.
Yeah, no, it's a deeper gray. So we did the curtains all the way around. So the screen is kind of surrounded by this pocket of this velvet curtain, and the screen is actually installed on some 2x4s, so it's kind of floating off of the wall, or ahead of the wall, and then the curtains are above the screen, beside the screen, below the screen, and then you can see here where the curtain ends and the wall picks up.
Okay.
So I had a local seamstress she came over. She makes like window curtains, and kind of gave her the whole gist of what I was trying to do, and she sewed all the curtains for the project. So if I lift this up right here, you can see this is my punch through. It's like maybe a 3-inch diameter punch through. So that's right behind the rack in the other room. So my HDMI cables to the projector, my Ethernet to the projector, my speaker wire, my subwoofer cables, they all just go through the wall down there. And the curtains along the base hide those cable runs. So they're all channeled inside the room rather than being in the wall. And in the back, the projector is now sitting in a closet back there. And the cable runs actually go up and over the closet that the projector is in to hit all the way over to these speakers for the side surrounds and whatnot. So that worked out really well. I can get cable anywhere I need it in here without having to fight it too much.
Yeah, that curtain do a good job of covering that up for you. What type of screen are we looking at there? I know you said it was 163 Cinescope.
Yep, 235, 163. It's a Seymour Center Stage XD, acoustically transparent woven. Great screen.
Is that the Premier frame, the 3-inch frame that they have, I think?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep. Yeah, 3-inch velvet.
Yeah, that just blends right in with the back, and it looks like it's floating. I mean, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. As soon as you turn these lights down, like this room performs in the dark. You probably can't even tell. There's 2 bass traps stacked on each other.
Can't even see it.
Yep, can't see it. Definitely.
Yeah, on camera you can't. When the lights are down in the room, like you can't even tell.
So who did you get the bass traps? Did you make them yourself, or did you purchase a package for treatments?
I bought them. So all of my treatments are GIK. There's 4. Let's see where we can look a little bit better. You can see them a little bit better in the back there. So they're tri-traps, I think is what they're called. There's a double stack of tri-traps in every corner of the room. At their recommendation, I think the ones in the front have some different fill, like some range limiting fill. And then we've got 3 of the 242 panels on each side wall. There's just a couple of like the foam slats in the back. That's 2 of their, what they call it, like the super base.
They're like the 6-inch deep ones.
Yeah, they're thicker.
That's the one on the floor standing stuff, right?
Yep. So those are on stands. They used to be on the walls here, because my first iteration of the room, we had box speakers in here. And then about 2-ish years ago, I got rid of the box speakers and went all architectural. So I needed the space on the wall for that speaker, so the panel came off, and I just put those on stands. And then we've got some on the ceiling as well. 8 of the foam, like dispersion, like random dispersion panels.
I remember you were having some issues with those falling. Did you? I think you used spray foam before. What did you use to attach them? Your second go round?
They're attached now with like it's like Super 7 spray glue. I did it so stupid, honestly. And now like if I ever need to get well, if and when it comes time to take these down and do something else, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna tear up the ceiling, ripping them off. I should have done something else, but these GIK is all right, like for what it is. You know, it's a value play, I would say, compared to like Vicoustics or some of the other brands that are out there. It is, to be brutally honest, it is a little bit of you get what you pay for as well in terms of
Right.
quality control and whatnot. Like these panels, right? They're kind of like plywood, not even plywood. They're like
Particle
fiber,
boards. Yeah.
yeah, particle board, and they're like loosely glued onto the foam, not
Yep.
even by very much. So like the particle board can actually fall off. I've had to reattach the particle board to the foam a couple times, and they get damaged so easy. Some of them even came out of the box with corners that were like ticked and things, but they're up on the ceiling, and it's all right. It is for what it is. Again, when you turn the lights off, I've got the lights on full bore in here because of the tour, but the
Right.
reality, it's like when I turn the room on, it's more like about this level of brightness maximum, and so that covers the the blemishes and whatnot.
You like to watch movies with the lights on?
No, that I'm saying that's like the level when we turn the room on to
Oh,
walk
okay.
in and, walk in
Regular
and sit down.
ambience of a room.
Yeah, no, we're
I do like to watch, with just a very little bit of light. I don't know why I prefer that over being
Yeah,
pitch black.
it's all that scary movies you watch. You don't like to watch them in the dark.
yeah we go lights fully off when we watch content. If I in the past when I have done video gaming down here, I leave the lights on a little bit to play a game. So that I got a big glass block window up here. This is one of the other things that I wouldn't have done, obviously, if it was a theater to begin with. But we draped a curtain over it. Um, but we tend to only really use the room in the evening, which means like after dark, watching movies. So, and we have some planting beds that in the summertime they grow like really thick, uh, some really thick plants there that kind of obscure it anyway. I need to go out there one of these summers and take like the same uh, static vinyl and put it on
Mhm.
the outside of that glass block window and just black it out finally.
Now,
Um,
for your tri traps that you had, have you ever are they attached to the wall or is they just
no,
stacked there?
they're just stacked.
So
They're
have
pretty
you
heavy.
ever just taken them out just to hear the difference?
No, I probably should and actually try to measure because this room is actually pretty tough on bass, which is one reason why I very much enjoy having four subwoofers because what I get out of the front is very different than what I get out of the back. But I think that's an experiment that I should just spend a half a day sometime and try it out. Like, but to set up the microphone, run some quick measure, and take the corner traps out pair by pair and see what happens. I haven't done it though.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely an experience because I'm looking at doing the same thing. I having 815s is what I'm
Mhm.
looking to have. So I'll have two rails stacked in each corner and then two D215s in the other two corner, the monolith ones.
Mhm.
And I was going to build the traps over top of those and kind of hide them eventually. But I don't know if it's going to do anything, to be honest with you, with that
Yeah.
type of SPO and, those
Yeah.
type of waves that it's going to, you're going to need, you're talking about controlling a 50-foot wave, right? So,
Yeah, they just like Scott Newby having bass straps. Man.
I'm nowhere near in the realm of Scott Newby, by the way. I watched that video that Jordan put out today of those guys were talking about their heart. They can feel their heart stopping. Like, no,
Yeah.
thank
Pretty
you.
wild.
I mean, that's why the guy has a defibrillator in his man.
But yeah,
So we
for
got
bass, yeah, these are SB16s, so there's four of them in here. I do plan to sell these. I need to actually go through the effort of getting them up on Facebook Market, but I'm probably gonna just swap them out for a quad set of the SB17s.
for the new 17s. Yeah.
Yeah, just because why not? Why
Would you
not have?
consider the RS1s?
Yeah, it's quite a bit more out of pocket. Quite honestly, I run these at -20.
Okay,
So like I don't need more bass power.
I see.
But I just like to have the current model.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely.
The other part too is like, especially for the front, you know, I'm kind of, I guess I could do bigger in the back and I could go a little smaller in the front, but um, I don't want to do anything any higher than those because the like an
Yeah, the
SP16 is
screen.
already at the bottom of the screen frame. So,
Yeah.
and there's literally nowhere else that subs are going in here other than kind of these 4-ish corner locations. So,
Oh, they look fantastic where they're at. I mean, I'm sure
yep,
you get pretty even seat to seat and
yep.
base coverage
Yes.
with having them all in the corners like that too.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ones up front really drop in the mid bass, but they carry low, and the ones in the back don't carry as low, but they carry the mid bass. So front and back. If there ever was a uh, a template or something that justified wanting to have 4 subwoofers, this room this room feeds that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how far do you see it from your screen?
It's about 13-ish feet. We've got about four. I think I got about 4 feet, give or take, from the back of the chair to the wall.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a
so these are
good space.
yep. These are the audio device revelations, row of 5. We did like the no arm in the middle of the two,
Okay.
so it's kind of like love seat, big
Yeah.
captain's separate chair in the middle, and I really do like having the double arms in the middle. It gives you like extra compartments. You can put up 2
Plenty of
tables.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
another love seat there.
there's nothing more I hate when I go to the movie theater and I got to share an armrest with somebody next to me.
Yeah. So we keep these pillows in here and stuff. These are just from Target. My aunt crocheted the blankets, so it's a basement. So even in the summertime with the AC on, it can be chilly.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when you custom built, you said that it wasn't really a theater room. So did you do anything special with AC to try to limit the AC noise or anything like that?
Now that's one of my challenges actually. Is you can kind of see the ceiling isn't the same height all the way through. There's a soffit in the back here.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have a geothermal HVAC system, and our utility room is right on the other side of this wall. And the tubing that the geothermal pumps its fluid out into the backyard to get into the ground loops goes through this soffit.
Oh, so you can hear.
So you can kind of hear it when the system is properly like calibrated up. It's not bad. But then sometimes like the geo system loses its pressure and you got to have the service people come out, and then you can hear like some sloshing kind of noises and stuff. Um, One of the things that I've mentioned a lot on the channel is I would say that provided we're committed to staying in this house for a long time to come, we don't have any other moving aspirations or something, with the way that the business is going and the channel is going, I'd probably put it on a 3-year plan that this room gets gutted to the studs and we reconvene the whole thing as a theater room, and that will allow us to sound isolate the mechanical room and sound isolate the soffit and do a whole bunch of other stuff. So it kind of is what it is. But when you're playing
Yeah.
movies at volume, like if that's like the worst part, and it's not even that bad.
So I mean, are you getting complaints from the wife and family that you're playing movies too loud, or do they spend the time down there with you?
No, we watch movies together at
Right.
I'd say at our stage in life. But I mean the sound, the room leaks sound for sure. If I get in here and I crank up to reference, you can hear slams and shutters and all of that stuff, gunshots throughout the main floor of the house for sure. And a little bit of that carries upstairs. But at this stage of my life, I'm never down here watching a movie at reference volume by myself,
Right.
like at a time when it would bother anybody else. If I actually watch a movie by myself, it's because like I ended up sick, and the family left to go do something. So it's like, well, I might as well go be sick in the theater.
Right, right.
um,
Yeah. And that's the use case I'm going to have for mine too, my wife. And,
yeah,
we plan on watching it together. So I
right.
did do the double drywall and all that stuff just in case I did want to,
Yep,
I did try to isolate as much as I could, but it's I didn't go overboard either. I didn't do the hat channel and all that
right.
stuff like that, but
Yep.
but yeah. So I mean, if you're both going to be in the room, or all of you going to be in the room at the same time, what does the sound isolation matter?
Yep,
As
it
long as
doesn't.
you're keeping it controlled inside your house and you're not pissing off your neighbors, right? So
Yep, exactly. Yeah, by far the majority of our use is as families. And it's fun now because, like I said, I was starting to say earlier, I think my youngest is like 11 and a half,
okay,
thereabouts. So we're at the point where we can start to watch a little bit more. We're pretty conservative, I would say, in terms of the content that we let our kids consume. So,
hmm
like, his friends have all seen a lot of movies that he hasn't seen yet.
right,
So my daughter and I have been waiting impatiently for him to age up a little bit so that we could be in the realm or start to watch some PG-13 movies and stuff like that. So
right.
we're making our way through a lot of fun cinema now, as a result of that.
That's cool. So your projector, back there, you got the we talked about, it was the NZ900 or N900, right?
Yep,
NZ900.
NC900. Yep, it's
So
got the DCR sitting on it.
is that just sitting on like a rack, or how do you have that? How do you have that set up? Because I noticed it's not up on the ceiling like you would see somebody with a mount.
Yep, that's how I had it before. There was a ceiling mount in the soffit, and I changed it kind of in preparation of wanting to get the bigger projector. So you can kind of see this white trim here. So
hmm
this is a like Home Depot stick-on tube for cabling. So is
hmm
this is the trim of the door. So there's a closet back here.
Okay.
And the closet, we when we finished the house, we had shelves built into the closet to begin with. And then I kind of we took the door off. Obviously, the closet door is in another storage room, and I reinforced the top of that shelf to both kind of elevate and kind of see a little bit. This
Yep.
kind of like it's on a stack of 2x4s. Like everything is cinched in really well, and then this shelf, it's sitting on a shelf right there. It's raised up so that it's actually pretty close to the top of the opening of the shelf. Or I'm sorry, of the closet. The closet actually goes up inside several more feet. This closet is underneath our fireplace upstairs, our living room fireplace in the chimney and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, so it worked out really well to kind of just set the projector in there. There's room all around it inside. And I had a lot of naysayers when I first did this on the channel, kind of calling me out. It's like, oh, you're breaking JVC spec, you're choking your projector. Like, well, no, it has inches all around it. There's a lot of space between this fabric and the projector itself. I have a Govee temperature monitor in there,
hmm
and we can leave this thing on for hours, and it's like 78 degrees inside that closet.
Oh
So
wow, that's good.
and
Yeah,
the
and
fabric is
that
even
one, I
under the
think that
touch.
one actually ventilates front to back too. The new one ventilates from the front to the back.
It sucks in the back and blows out the front still.
Oh, so that one's still okay. So maybe that's
Yep.
the new NX5 and 7 that's doing that now.
Oh,
I
maybe
know.
that's interesting. I'm not sure about those.
Yeah, because the newer ones, they changed the direction. It used to be from back to front, and now it's front to
Hmm,
back again. So
cool.
but yeah, so
Okay.
it's actually better for you that it's ventilating out to the front, so
Yeah. Yep. And there's some gapping. This curtaining is actually like it's off the wall a little bit, and there's some space at the bottom, so it
yeah.
works fine. I've had it in here for a while, and I mean the projector isn't ramping up. I've watched the temperature. We've had it running for long periods of time when Sammy was here, when I did my other event. So it works great. The other thing that I found when it was on the ceiling mount is it took me a while before I realized this, but like this soffit kind of like micro shakes.
Okay.
So as that fluid is pumping through, and it's kind of those lines are kind of just resting on the framing of this soffit up here. If you went up when the projector was ceiling mounted, you went up closer to the screen, you could see a little bit of a vibration in the image because it was the whole assembly was shaking, and now it's rock solid. So it's almost like a resolution increase or like a sharpness increase. Not
Yeah, I was
having
worried about that too because I built a projector housing up to go up. You know, if you saw the picture earlier that where my projector, that's just going to sit on a shelf. So I was wondering how much vibration I'm actually going to get out of that. Are you using any special feet on the bottom of your projector to try to eliminate any vibration or anything like that?
No, I haven't done anything like that. It's just using the included feet sitting on the stack of 2x4s there.
Okay.
So, but this,
And as far as speaker wise, what are we using for
yeah,
speakers?
it's all Focal 1000 series. So behind the screen are three IW LCR 6s. There are four IW 6s as the side and rear surrounds. And then there are four ICW 6s up in the ceiling there. So this is one of my trade-offs for sure is the Atmos array is kind of tight. I'd probably prefer to have the backs be a little further back, but I've got a soffit and I couldn't put them in the soffit. So
Right.
they had to sit in front of it. So I do have some
So
plans here. I'd like to make a Utopia upgrade, which was kind of already a little bit already in the cards or in the long-term plan. But I love these speakers. I love Focal as a brand. I had them before these Electra series stuff. And I think these 1000s are spectacular. I have the same 1000s in the living room as well.
So Julius asked, do you think you'll upgrade your Atmos to 6 speakers?
No.
Yeah,
No.
with your soffit, I guess challenges back there, it might not make
Yeah.
sense to try to, unless you're going to surface mount something back there.
Yeah. I don't think in this room configuration, famous last words, but in this room configuration, I don't expect to add any speakers. With one row of seating, I don't need two side surrounds. With one row of seating, I don't think we need another set of overheads. There's really not room to do wides. Because even if I brought the wides out to the sidewall, I've got a door on this side.
Right.
So I think the speakers that are in here, the quantity and location of the speakers that are in here are here to stay. My speaker progression comes, I think, only from looking towards wanting to get up to the Utopias in one of two potential pathways. So.
And your box speakers that you had before, if I remember correctly, you had some sort of focals before, correct?
Yep, I had 1038 BE Electra towers, which is basically the equivalent of like the bigger Sopras nowadays. So there were the two towers. I had effectively the Electra center, the Sopra center, on a stand, and then I had heights, not overhead speakers, and so there was like a bookshelf Aria 906.
Mm-hmm.
One on like a wall bracket right here, one right there above the screen, and then that's actually why I put these panels in, because I didn't feel like tearing out or like repairing all the drywall damage of
Right.
taking the bracket down. I'm like, screw it, I'll slap up a $40 panel instead. um, and then there were four 906s on stands, two in the back and two on the sides. And we had a couch in here, like a U-shape IKEA couch. So all the upgrades really came together in progression because these is a tighter fit here to the sidewall, so like I couldn't really put speakers on stands anymore. That let me get to the chairs, getting the speakers out of the room, let me go to a scope screen because now the tower speakers aren't blocking the light path side to side. In my opinion as well, for home theater, nothing beats acoustically transparent and putting your speakers behind the screen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the goal everybody should be striving to achieve with a projector.
Yeah, all the same speakers. Some people
Yep.
talk about doing you know, a better center channel than the left and right, but I think that you should
Yep.
keep all three together for tonality and timbre matching.
Same model. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No.
my plan is either to, or my hope, we'll see how it transpires, but either plan A would be replace the 3 IWLCR6s behind the screen with 3 Utopias, and then take the IWLCR6s, get a 4th, and then put those in these positions,
Yep.
and then take these and put these up there, and then just get rid of the smaller rounds.
I see.
If I did that, then I may be able to take that speaker and put it on the soffit because these speakers have an on-wall box.
So there's a back box to them already.
Well, these are all sealed. Well, not the rounds. The rounds are not, but all of the other speakers in the lineup are they're sealed backs to begin with.
I see.
So that's plan A. Plan B, if it works out to do so, would be just to do Utopias all the way around, and then I would still take these and put these up as my overheads potentially, or I might just leave the rounds. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah,
Depends
the
how things go.
Utopias are definitely a nice looking speaker. That's got what? That's got 2 woofers on the top and 2 on the bottom, along with the tweeter, correct?
Yeah, it's like 7 drivers.
Yeah.
It's basically like a line array of sorts. I
Yeah.
want to do those upstairs as well. What I really like to do upstairs is replace the IWLCR6s with a pair of Utopias, and then also just use the focal subwoofer modules too, and just have one big single focal like full range speaker effectively.
Nice. Well,
But
your
we'll
theater
see.
room definitely looks great. It's definitely come a long way, and as you can tell, I'm a fan of your channel. I watch all the videos, so just about all the videos that I can when I have time. So definitely appreciate you sharing your journey with us today, and throughout the past couple of years that you've you know been on your channel and putting things together. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Jeremy's channel, make sure you go out and subscribe to Tech Enthusiasm on YouTube. Give him some love, like this video, set the bell notification. He's also a dealer for various products, just like I am. I like to support any and everybody. I believe there's enough room for everybody in this space. So what are some of the products that you're a dealer for, Jeremy?
Kaleidescape, JVC, Panamorph, and then I can access in different levels. I can access a variety of other brands like Focal, Denon Marantz, Sony, LG, Samsung, Snap. So the strong racks, the WattBox stuff, as well as Furman, Panamax, and other things like that. Yeah, a whole laundry list of stuff. Like a few other brands too have been able to add in the list, like Audio Control now, ELAC, Definitive Technology. I think there's, if you go to techenthusiasm.net, there's a brand listing. That's
and how do they get a hold of you if they're interested in some gear?
Yeah, Jeremy at techenthusiasm.net, or again, just go to www.techenthusiasm.net.
Very good, very good. Yeah, no, I know that you've been. What made you dive into becoming a dealer? What made you take that step, that plunge towards that?
I think that's just been the progression of the business of the channel. So I would say like, so the channel's coming up on about 3.5 years old now. It was June of 2021. And I kind of started it on a bit of a whim, but I always had a business mindset about it, which is like, make this content, see where it goes. I think I have some things to offer. I think I can bring a unique voice. I'm a 25-year degreed computer engineer by day. I work on software, hardware, technology and stuff. I have for decades. I lead a 30-person development organization, developing desktop software currently. So you know, I tend to make content that's like technical but accessible and focused on like getting the most out of stuff and digging deep into how things work and stuff like that. So as the channel started to grow, I started to have people asking me like, hey, I'd really like to talk to you. I'd like to get your feedback. I'd like to get your advice. It's like, okay, I'll do that. And then after I did that a couple of times, people were like, I need to pay you. Like, this was so helpful. I'm like, wow, okay, sure. Let's do that. So right now, paid consultancies. And like everybody was really happy with that. So that started to go. And then I started to pick up like channel affiliates, and Audio Advice came along and they saw something, I think, in the channel and in what I was doing, and wanted, even though I was small, even at the time, and wanted to kind of partner up. So we did that and was working with them for, or still do. I still do a lot of referrals to them. I think they're a great company in many respects. But then coming into this year, like looking at it, it's like, okay, like I'm sending a lot of referrals, and like I could probably be servicing some of these myself, especially to the kind of like qualified people that are calling me, which is like the DIY enthusiast kind of person that's comfortable doing their stuff. And you know, I'm not looking to operate a truck roll, let's design a system and I'm going to come to your house for 2 weeks and build your theater kind of business. It's more like servicing a different clientele.
Right.
And then like legitimately, like Kaleidescape, right, previously had the like the referral program. And I just, one day I was like looking at the quantity of referrals that came through, and it's like, this is crazy. Like I should be a Kaleidescape dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, getting $100 movie store credit isn't quite the same.
Yeah, especially, you know, the amount of time that you spend with people, setting it up, walking through it, everything like that.
Yep.
You know, and it's all part of it. You know, I have people reaching out to me asking about, you know, Kaleidescape. I'll get onto a like a FaceTime or something like that with them, and be on with them for 2 hours, right? You know, and it's like, hey, where did the time go? You know, and then you find out that, you know, somebody undercut you and they bought from them. You know, it's part of the business, right? You know, so and I don't do it just like you. I don't do it for my, you know, main source of income either. So, you know, it doesn't bother me at all. It's just I like talking to people. I like doing this show. This is like, I think I was telling you pre-show that I spent like 10 hours doing inventory at my my place. So this type of stuff is just a release for me, you know. So I enjoy it a lot too. So but yeah, no, make sure you guys are reaching out to Jeremy if you're interested in any of the equipment that he was talking about. Do you do anything with acoustics?
No, not really. I do. The only thing that I would say I do, like acoustic wise, is I think I have a good handle on running Arc Genesis. So nowadays, like if somebody calls me, or if I end up with like a paid consulting call, it's less about like helping people make gear choices or something like that, and it's more like, you know, spend 90 minutes with me and teach me Arc Genesis, or spend 90 minutes with me and teach me how to like program some stuff in my Control4 home composer, or, you know, stuff like that.
So you're doing the basic programming for Control 4 right now?
I'm not a Control 4 programmer, but I help people. I would say I help people get the feel of using Home Composer on their own.
Okay. Yeah, because I know they open it up to where you can do a little bit of programming yourself, right?
Yeah, Home Composer you can do if as an end user of Control 4, if you have Home Composer, not every dealer actually lets their customers access Home Composer, I've found. You have to pay, I think to get Home Composer, technically you have to pay for the Foresight, which also gives you remote access to your Control 4 system. And it's maybe a couple $100 a year now. But Home Composer is the same software that the dealers use to program Control 4. They use Composer Pro. The only difference is, as an end user in Home Composer, you can't add equipment. You can't change the structure of the project, like add rooms and move stuff in different rooms. And so, but like you can program all of the behaviors and a lot of the operational characteristics of it. So.
Yeah, I thought about taking the course to learn how to mess with it on the back end, but as Paul and Ike mentioned a little bit earlier, I don't think I'm smart enough for that.
Yeah, the way I see it, it's like it's also a matter of time. Like,
I don't think that's how we phrased it.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it's phrased.
We just thought it would be a long-term project. That's all.
I'm gonna have ChatGPT write my script for me for that. Oh man.
Yeah, I think it would take a lot. It's a lot more customer commitment to be on the hook, to be like somebody's Control 4 integrator, and at least in my opinion, right now for me, like that's too much.
Yeah, I know people that that have complained about their Control 4, I guess their integrator, and they've had to switch to a couple different people, just because the person was too busy or whatever. That is the only downside, I think, to the Control 4, right? You have to wait for other people outside, and that's exactly what Steven's saying. He's got to relies on someone else. So, I understand, exactly what you're saying there. So, but yeah, it's I want the Control 4 because I want to be able to control the Kaleidescape, to dim the lights and to do everything else and all that, right? As I press play and press, pause and turn on the step lights and this and that and all that, for the riser. So that's what attracts me to it. I'm not saying there's nothing else out there that probably couldn't do it, but for me, it seemed like the simplest solution. And just to have somebody, and I want something that if I'm not home, my wife can press watch, Kaleidescape, and boom, there it is, right? Exactly. Yeah. So I have the older remote. I have the I don't even know where it's at right now. I have the one the iteration right before the Halo. So
the Neo.
Yeah, the Neo. Yep. Yeah. So. Yeah. I'll probably buy a Halo for the.
These are a massive improvement over the Neo.
Oh, say. Really? Yeah, mine's still in the box.
I never liked the Neo at all.
So Chris B says he's got a Savant since 2020. His integrator comes out once a year to check the system, make sure that's updated.
Yeah, once a year. That's wow.
Really dependent. I think like Steven's saying, though, it depends on if you tweak in your system and you're putting stuff in and taking stuff out, being integrator dependent, to have your control back online every time you make a change can be a pain, but it's a trade-off. In exchange for that, you get a rock solid system that once it is reconfigured again, it's going to work. and it has a lot of other integration and power built into it. So it's all just a matter of what you
Oh,
want.
you've been
what you
kind of
value.
quiet over there. You got any questions for Jeremy on his theater?
No, when he was showing his Ubiquiti, I was like, I don't know what that bottom box is. I was like, oh, I didn't even know they did cable modems. I was like, I thought I knew every Ubiquiti product, and then I was like, oh yeah, I guess since I have fiber, I don't have the cable modem thing. So,
What remote was that for? Don?
That was the Neo.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
but yeah,
That's the Neo.
I like pretty much the whole setup, and yeah, that's tough with the cooling system going over there. So when you redesign that, are you gonna actually pay to have that moved or migrated somewhere, or
no, there's no moving it at this point, because the the way geothermal works is it's a tubing.
yeah,
It pumps the fluid out. So we have horizontal loops buried 15 feet deep in the backyard that feed through these lines into the unit in that other room there. I think like in a broader sense, if the room rebuild happens the way that I would fully conceive of it, we would move this door further to the what would be the back of the room right now, and I'd flip the room around 180 degrees. So we'd put the screen on the opposite wall behind me. We'd sit over there, and then we'd build a little bit of a false wall, and we could like triple drywall this soffit.
gotcha.
Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, I say yeah. The room's great. I like it. It's all
we could rip this drywall down. We could fill in the soffit, triple drywall it up, and just marginalize it away.
You're just saying you would
And then
make
we'd be
that
sitting-
like where you wouldn't hear it along with redesigning. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because
we could just
probably cost more to move that, even if you're just rerouting it a little bit. That would cost more than rebuilding the whole section of the house.
It'd be a mess.
Yeah.
We actually did consider that a couple of years back. We had a rough thought of putting a pool in, and it's like, man, if we did a pool, we'd have to relocate the geo loops, and we didn't do it. It was just way too much.
What is the purpose of the geo loops? What does that do? Is that like heating, or is that cooling? What is that for?
It does both. Yep. So geothermal it's like an alternative type of furnace.
Okay.
And there's a fluid that gets pumped through these tubes, so that the ground temperature, I believe, is like a constant 55 degrees. I think that's the right number. So in the winter, there's like, I don't know the specific chemistry of the engineering of this, but there's like some kind of a heat exchanger, and the fluid is pumped through, it gets pumped outside, and there's like a heat exchange process, and it creates warm air, essentially.
Okay.
In the summertime, it's like an opposite process. So it's like almost like a bit of a radiation type process, where the heat is taken out of the air, heats the fluid pumps outside, and the ground cools it. But it's incredibly efficient, especially in the summer. Like it can cool way easier than like a forced air conditioner.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was curious. It's not something that I've heard of. Of course, I'm in the South, so it's 180 degrees all the time. So, although we did get down into the 50s this past week. So we got down into I think it got to like
freezing over there, ain't it?
Freezing, man.
That would be like equivalent to like -18 here.
You would think so. I mean, people were dressed in bomber ski jackets and everything else for 50-degree weather. I'm from Baltimore originally, so I'm used to seeing snow.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff,
would be there with flip flops on or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why's everybody dressed so warm? What's that?
Yeah, no, it's a different kind of cold here too, because you got that wet, damp air coming in off of the sea.
Yeah,
So
that does make a difference.
it's definitely bone chilling cold. So it feels colder than what it is. But yeah, my poor son, sending him to school. I'm sending him to school, and he's got ankle socks, with pants, so he don't have like the longer socks. I'm like, I think his ankles are gonna get cold. So, but yeah, no,
It's funny.
Jeremy, definitely appreciate you sharing your theater with us. Like
Yeah,
we
my
said
pleasure.
before,
Thanks for the invitation.
if you guys haven't subscribed to Jeremy's channel, please go over to Tech Enthusiasm on YouTube. Same thing with my channel, Horizon Home Theater. Appreciate if you guys would subscribe to that. Also, Ike's channel, EasyHT Tech. What do you got coming up, Ike? You got anything in for review that's been sitting around for a while that we're waiting for you to get done?
He does reviews like you build theaters, Don. Yeah, I'll review your product.
You didn't have to phrase it that way, man.
Sorry, my bad. That was a little below the belt.
Hey, I had to give him a jab every now and then.
Oh, man. Yeah, I have a couple of things that I'm working on. I did receive this Power Station 6 that is supposedly the replacement for the NVIDIA Shield.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Boss TV device. So I'm interested in checking it out, seeing, for the home theater community, if at all it matches. There are a couple of similarities. I think some of the people who made the NVIDIA Shield probably work on it because it has the same code name as the NVIDIA Shield.
Okay.
So that's kind of weird. Yeah, it has the same, how like the MDASI is the NVIDIA Shield code name when you log into the settings.
Mhm.
That's the same code name that this has. So yeah, I'll be working on that this weekend, and I have a couple of other stuff out there, man.
He's
It
trying to
will
keep
come
it-
out.
He's trying to keep it close to the close knit here, I guess. Trying to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll continue to pay attention to the channel. So if you'd like to find out what Ike has coming up, make sure you subscribe to EasyHT Tech and hit that bell notification. Appreciate everyone joining the show today. Once again, hope that you had a great Thanksgiving and hope that you have fantastic holidays coming up. So we will see you next Thursday, and we'll try to give you a schedule for Christmas week too, to see what's going to happen with that. But for those of us at Home Theater Hub Live, appreciate everyone joining. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, go ahead and email us. You can show off your theater. We don't care if you have 2.1 system. We don't care if you have sound bars. If you're happy with your system, we're happy with it too. Come on the show and be a guest, just as Jeremy did today. Jeremy, thanks again for streaming to your channel. Really appreciate you joining us, and just hang on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.